Vamos a repasar los verbos regulares en el pretérito. Deben tener la hoja para tomar los apuntes. Las terminaciones regulares que terminan con AR son aste, o, amos, astes, aron. Y los que terminan con ER, las terminaciones son iste, yo, imos, istes, ieron. So I want you to write these down on your note sheets. So as you can tell, the yo form and the LA usted form both have accent marks on them, always in the regular preterite endings. One other way to remember the AR and ER, IR endings would be to sort of slap on your desk and you repeat it. It's something like this. The AR's aste, o, amos, astes, aron. Then the ER, IR, iste, yo, imos, istes, ieron. Again, the ARs are aste, o, amos, astes, aron. And then the ER, IR, iste, yo, imos, istes, ieron. So let's move on to the Kar-Gar and Zar. Underneath Kar-Gar and Zar, number 1 and number 2, could you please write the only change in the yo form? And then number 2 is the changes. The C changes to a QU, G to GU, and Z to C. Now there's 2 boxes underneath that. What I would like you to do is conjugate buscar and comenzar in todas las formas, in all of the forms. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted. So pause this, try it, and then come back. Okay, buscar. Busqué, buscaste, buscó, buscamos, buscastes, buscaron. So here, the only irregular change you have is in the yo form. It only changes in the yo form. And then after that, we have comenzar. Again, the Z and the Zar changes to a C. Comencé, comenzaste, comenzó, comenzamos, comenzastes, comenzaron. Have you ever noticed that the difference between the 2 and the vosotros, if you look at the AR endings, aste, astes, is all you have to do is add an IS to the vosotros form. You have iste, oops. And then you have the IS, you end at the end. So it's aste, astes, iste, istes. Here is a list of some of the Kar-Gar and Zar verbs. You have that on your second sheet. You don't have to write anything with this. It's just there are some new ones in there that you might need to remember. And there are more Kar-Gar and Zar than these. These are just a few of them. Now we're going to move on to ER, IR verbs. 3 vowels together, no way. If you remember this, the third person singular and plural, the I changes to a Y. So for number 1 and 2 in this, you write number 1, I changes to a Y, and then they change in the third person, the singular and the plural. There's an accent over all the I's in creer, leer, oír, and caerse. UIR accents are only in the yo and the LAO stead form, which that's typically how the endings are. You have endings, accent marks in the yo form and the LAO stead form. This includes construir, destruir, and incluir. GUIR do not change. Seguir and conseguir, you do not have. The 3 vowels in a row is okay with that. So what I would like you to try to do now, if you feel comfortable, is try to conjugate leer in todas las formas, in all the forms. Pause this, try to conjugate it, remembering the I changes to a Y in the third person. You have accent marks over all the I's. Do not conjugate construir yet. Okay, so leer. Tenemos leíste, leí, leíste, leyó, leímos, leísteis, leyeron. So you, of course, have an accent mark in the yo form and the LAO stead form, but you also have accent marks over all the I's in the other forms. And then when you come to the third person, you have 3 vowels in a row right here, correct? So in that situation, the I would then change to a Y. Okay, so, whoops. So that one would be in the third person. It's hard to write it incorrectly. And then the I would change to a Y, which is leyeron. So the I has an accent in all of the forms. I have another one that I'm going to conjugate for you. It's not on your sheet, just so you can see. It's caerse, which is to fall. You have to remember to change the se, right, and put it in front, depending on the person that you're talking about. So we have me caí, te caíste, se cayó, nos caímos, os caíste, se cayeron. Pay attention to the accent marks and the two, nosotros and vosotros, as well as the 3 vowels in a row in these ones right here. So here's some of leer, creer, oír, and caerse, which we have already written down under number 3, UIR. I changes to a Y in the third person forms. Only accents in the yo in the third person, which we already have this written down under number 4. And these are some of the verbs that are UIR, which we have already written down under number 4 as well. So what I'd like you to do now is conjugate construir, stop this, and then come back and check it. Okay, here is the conjugations. Construí, construiste, construyó, construimos, construistes, construyeron. So again, we just have accent marks with the regular endings, the yo and the LA we did. The other ones do not have accent marks. And then GUIR, like I had, what we had written down in number 5, does not change. We're just going to conjugate seguir. And we'll do this one together. It does not change, but it changes like IR stem changers. So this is an IR stem changer. So if you can remember about IR stem changers, they change in the third person. Okay, seguir and conseguir. Seguí, seguiste, siguió, seguimos, seguiste, siguieron. So here we have 3 vowels in a row, and it's okay if it ends in GUIR. We also have the E changed to an I, which we're going to just talk about in the next section. Okay, stem changers in the IR. I apologize, I did not erase my marks from this one. Okay, stem changers in the IR for number 1 and number 2. Write down number 1, stem changes in the present. It also stem changes in the preterite. Okay, so anything that stem changes that ends in IR, like I circled up here, if it ends in IR. If it ends in AR, ER, it does not matter. And also the E changes to an I, and the O changes to a U. So that's number 1 and 2. So dormir, for example, we have the stem in the ending. As I circled, the stem is the D-O-R-M, and then the ending is the I-R, and it's A-R, E-R, I-R. So when we're talking about changing in the stem, we're talking about changing in the first part. So if you feel comfortable and you want to go ahead and try to conjugate pedir, stop this before I go through it, conjugate it, and then check it. If not, you might want to wait for the first example and then try the second one yourself. It changes again in the third person singular and the third person plural. So here we have pedir, pedí, pediste, pidió, pedimos, pedistes, pidieron. So we have the same endings, it's just it changes in the third person, E to an I. So why don't you try preferir? Remember with preferir, it changes, you change the second E if there's 2 E's. Okay, preferir. Preferí, preferiste, prefirió, preferimos, preferistes, prefirieron. Okay, again, the third person, E changes to an I. Here are some O to U and E to I. We don't have a lot of O to U. This is on your last sheet. You don't have to write these down. But these are some that some of them you know, some of them you don't. So you need to study the ones that you do not know. Okay, here's some irregulars that you also have on your sheet. You don't have to write any of this down. I, and the preterite is ubo. So I is there is or there are. Ubo is there was or there were. Freír is to fry. Reír, to laugh. Sonreír, to smile. If you look at them, there's accent marks over all the I's in all the forms except for the third person plural. The third person, I'm sorry. So it's like the 3 vowels in a row verbs, like freír, but then also freír in the third person is a stem changer, so it changes to E to I. So it's got a lot of funky things going on. Freír, again, accent marks in the I's, okay, except for the third person, and then it's a stem changer. And then sonreír follows the same pattern. So it's reí, Reíste, rió, reímos, reísteis, rieron. So vamos a practicar. What I want you to do is stop. I want you to just write these down, conjugate these on a sheet of paper, and then come back and check your answers. We've got a lot of different forms in here. Some's regular, some have the 3 vowels in a row, carver and zar, E to I and O to U, etc. Okay, here are the answers. So we have creí, marcó, siguieron. Okay, 3 vowels in a row is okay with seguir. The E changes to an I because it's an IR stem changer. Coqueteaste. That one's just regular. Jugué is a gar. Oíste, accent mark over the I. Construimos, no accent marks over the I. Repitió, stem changers. Divirtieron, lo siento. Me vestí. Okay, so write down any questions you have, and I'd be happy to answer them tomorrow. Nos vemos mañana.